We have got quite a bit to talk about with the resilient Jenkins today. You see up here, we're going to start with this mess up here. Now I got it, I screen recorded it several times just so you can get the full effect of this, okay? Now, Stephanie, she says, so I posted a gold video on the tube you today. And of course, the internet loves it, laughing emoji. My response to the negative energy. Either y'all missed the point entirely or you just choose to comment ignorance. The whole point was for the video to be as cringe as possible. Well, it's cringe, all right. Because the reality is, even when people caption their videos like I did, they still dance a choreographed version of weird. Never actually willing to put a side of them out there that people will tear apart. Me, however, couldn't care less, laughing emoji. And what people should gather from it, what they miss entirely, I'd be the friend you can be 1000% yourself with. No hiding any part of the weird cringe that you have to wait and let out when you're alone. You could fart loudly, sing out of pitch, dance like a spider standing on two legs, give you your moves, be yourself, and I'll love you for it. It's sickening that people feel elevated putting others down. I believe in lifting others up and having a good time while we're all on this spinning planet. Side note to my 10-year-old self, we definitely accomplished making the weirdest facial expressions. Then, let's just keep going because we got a lot to talk about. Then she has this other post on FB, right? It's a video of her pushing the kids again in the shopping cart. I don't know where they're going this time, she doesn't say. But apparently Stephanie's lonely and needs friends because she says, I really need a local mom friend. I hate to tell you, honey, but ain't nobody trying to be your friend. Just someone to help me bounce around whenever I go out with my kids. Basically, somebody she can use for a ride when she needs to go somewhere, and needs to borrow money and whatnot. Someone to chit-chat with that can maintain conversation. Park trips could be so much more fun. Trips to the community center be less overwhelming. I'm just one person that do a dang good job of handling everything and chasing my toddlers opposite directions. Well, that's a matter of opinion. Still keeping an eye on the older kids' whereabouts. But then I'm just there, existing so they can have the day they want. I'm sure the day they want would involve being in a home. And I do it willingly because their happiness is mine. Then get them a home. But I would sure love some age-appropriate interaction and entertainment while I go about my day, laughing emoji. And I know that starts with me being more committed to make those connections and stay connected. And it would be a huge bonus if whomever I connect with ends up having kids around the same ages as mine. I'd really, like I say, I hate to say it, but I really don't think anybody wants to be Stephanie's friend. Then we have this long rambling post. Apparently her and Drew must be fighting again. And she posted this picture up here under it. Now, what do we got going on with this picture here? I'm really not quite sure. It looks like her face looks so oily and I don't know what she's trying to convey with this picture. Let's get that out of here. So anyways. Now are you ready for this long post? She says, and when I say long, I mean long, so get comfortable. Of course, I want people to view my partner in a positive light. Why would I not want that? I also take the biblical stance and see it as my obligation to be faithful, supportive, and do the most for my man. My man. If I fill his cup any way I can, he has more to pour back into our family. It's painful to see that these efforts go so unnoticed. So Drew's not paying attention to Stephanie, apparently. I realize that a stranger's opinion really doesn't matter, but it's so easy to assume anything you want from content you see on the internet. I'm not going to ramble too much because I've quickly learned that relationships should stay off the internet. Then why are we putting it here again? I know I learned late, but I will say this. Drew and I both have helped each other through changes, and progressing in life. I'm not sure why it is so hard for him to share content that echoes the person he is to my face. Not going into that too much. But, we just got to make a dig at him. I'm really to address the endless conversations between Drew and complete strangers, 98% women. What she's mad about, I think, is recently a woman sent a comment to Drew asking if she could send clothes to the children. He said yes. And she said, well, just let me know where to send them. And he said he'd get back to her. And I'm sure that's what started this whole argument or whatever it is once again. Okay, so she says, I have voiced to Drew that it bothers me that he even opens so many messages. But I guess that's apparently something I have to work on? Question mark. What I want these women to know is you see exactly what he wants you to see. You will never see the person that I have stood by through everything. You think you're doing something, but seeking his attention, and most of you do it at least get read. Again, I don't know why. I personally don't open any messages from the opposite sex, out of respect, especially if I could see the messages as starting to dogging on Drew. I'd shut that down as it is. Let's get real, Miss Thompson. Ain't no man sending you any messages. Let's get that out of the way right now. Ain't nobody sending you messages. All I'm saying is you probably wouldn't be messaging with your F. Stephanie, run to me, I'll save you. Nobody's trying to take your man either, Stephanie. You can have him. He's safe. You can keep him. If y'all actually went through the last 4 years with us, I'm not even worried about the messages because I get the same. Men just can't help but seek validation. Stephanie, you're not getting no messages from men. Again, I do find it hurtful that I voiced wishing he wouldn't even open the messages to begin with. He never deletes anything, though, so maybe I'm just a little psycho for wanting that level of commitment to begin with. So obviously he's not hiding nothing, then. What's the problem here? I'm not trying to shame him. Yes, you are. I'm trying to make a point. He wouldn't be the man you're chasing after without the support I give him to accomplish that. Imagine. I guess she means image. He wants to be the one providing and giving me the opportunity to be home with our kids and not miss their childhood. And I know he's probably just tired of arguing with you about going to get a job. I didn't force that on him. I beg to differ. I didn't uproot or cause his life to crumble in any way. We crumbled together from lack on both our part. No, when you decided to move into his apartment that was just for him and his son, when you decided to move in there with your 2 children and then pop out 2 more, that's where it started. You had no business moving into that apartment that was probably, subsidized, government subsidized housing. And then, you go viral and you don't pay the rent. So you didn't do anything? I think you're forgetting some facts here, Miss Thompson. Okay, so it doesn't matter what attention or even time you get from him. You will absolutely never know him like I do. And nobody wants to either. I'm not ashamed of my faults being thrown at me, so say what you want on how I shouldn't this and should be that. No relationship is complication-free. If you love someone, you probably end up going through patches with them. This isn't even me saying there's an issue between me and Drew. Yes, there is. That's why you got this long rambling post again. It's the opposite, actually. It's me stating that your attempts to drive wedges enough to have your turn continually fail. Nobody wants a turn with your man. As of now, it is still God's plan to keep this family a family and fight our battles as a unit. If Drew is unhappy, I hope he would just voice that rather than slowly disconnect and fill the void. And can someone explain why I should see things from Drew's point of view? Why would it not be wrong to continually seek validation through other women when you are committed to someone? Wouldn't you either shut it down or ignore it if it were truly happy? And cue the manic comments. Yeah, Stephanie, you're definitely got some substances going on here, and that's why we got these long rambling posts. Very quickly, because I'm almost out of time here, Drew made a video on the TikTok showing an absolutely filthy shelter room, saying about she went to the park and, she can't do it all by herself, so he's going to clean up. Now, this man working a full-time job, plus doing his gig work, and comes home to this pigsty. If I was him, I wouldn't raise a finger to do that. But let me know your thoughts on all this. Stephanie thinking everybody wants to take her man. People want her. Oh, my God. Yeah, the 15th, that money, she bought a lot with that because she's still out there.